What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It is WillFoxification back here again with my amazing co-host, as always, Mr. Keco Collects on Threads. Guys, we are here this fine Friday, July 14th, 2023 at 5:18 p.m. Only 3 minutes approximately behind for your flight this evening. So we promise you we're going to get you home safely and soundly into the weekend. But we want to start by, introducing you to some cool collecting topics and talk about everything under the sun, 1/6 scale, even some statues here and there, just some big picture topics. Not a ton of news to talk about tonight, but we will get into the stuff that we need to. That said, before we adjust the chat, before we get into our first topic, let's address our amazing co-host, Lights Camera Keco Collects on Threads. Bro, you got product in your hair. You're looking real nice, man. What's the occasion?
Well, it's just Friday, and we're going to go eat after this. You know how much food means to me and my family, so we're going to go ahead and put that RSVP in for a big dinner tonight, guys, ladies and gentlemen. Drum roll. Texas Roadhouse. That's how we're wilding out tonight. So for some reason, that's the ones that people that she really likes. I understand it's a chain; it's not that big of a deal, but she likes the rolls. And
they have good dinner rolls. Yeah,
they have great dinner rolls, and they're famous for their honey butter. So naturally, that when you get there, it's not typical butter. You have to ask for regular butter if you want that. So
you got to get the honey butter, and then if you want regular, you got to tell them you want to be basic. Yeah.
Exactly. Be like, oh, can I get regular butter? And they're like, roll their eyes, and
they're gonna be like, get the fuck out. Get out.
Like, let me guess, you're carb counting.
That's probably
something along those lines.
Texas Roadhouse, bro. That's
what we're doing tonight.
Yeah, dude, that sounds awesome though, man. For me, man, I'm gonna do pretty much the same thing. I'm gonna do this live stream and then probably start editing clips. So that's what I do on Friday. Also, guys, dude, by the way, Keco, I love to take walks, bro, out in nature. I just walk around like my neighborhood and my area, and I post videos all the time. And people always laugh because I post the same songs over and over. But it's like, dude, you can't have better ones. So I mean, why not?
That's what I was gonna. Amy says, why does Will post the same song every single time? I was like, I've never noticed it. I've never noticed.
Did you say that?
Yeah, it's like it's Look at the Sky or something, right? Yeah. So I never noticed it until she pointed it out. Is there a reason behind that song in particular?
Dude, that song is probably my favorite song of all time, man. It has so if anyone out there likes electronic music or pop music or whatever, Porter Robinson, bro, I love his music, man. I've always kind of liked sort of that spacey sort of atmospheric music that takes you outside of like normal Earth, basically. So it's not that different it's kind of like more EDM Owl City, basically. I've always really liked them too, just because Owl City, with Adam Young, he had like a really sort of weird sort of out there sound, and I like that. So yeah, I mean, Look at the Sky just has a great meaning to it. So guys, if you listen to it, just about really like anytime you're ever feeling like you're doubting yourself or like you need to grow beyond what you are now, it's just a song about that and about growth and about overcoming obstacles and just growing into what you don't think.
Well, I love a good message, naturally.
Dude, that song has a great message. So
fantastic.
Yeah, that's why I love it. And it just sounds great too, bro. So,
imagine pulling up to like a picnic in the forest or whatever it is that you walk to, listening to that, but with some Texas Roadhouse dinner rolls.
That sounds like heaven.
I know, that is heaven. That's what the utopia that we should be reaching towards here, ladies and gentlemen.
I think if you told me that story, Keco, I'd say you're in heaven. You died.
Yeah. Wow, that's a little deep, but
it is, bro. It is, but it's still heaven nonetheless, man. But yeah, absolutely, man. It's just one of my favorite songs. But I have a couple friends who give me a lot of shit. They're like, post a different song. I'm like, you're just gonna unfollow me because I'm gonna keep posting it. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining us. We are gonna talk about some really cool stuff this fine evening. There's a lot of some news that we can talk about, and then some, of course, big picture topics that Keco and I are getting into. Two-man show this fine evening. So, Keco, we're going to bring the heat, bro. We're going to bring the drama, as we always do.
I'm going to carry this shit tonight, so let's do it. Especially after last week when I couldn't even be on camera, when I had a 5 megabit upload, and then Mom said, let's get out. It's time to eat. I'm like, oh, okay, time to go. Yeah. So, as you all know, everyone, sorry about any of the lack of experience that you were able to not receive last week. I was with family, and that's what we were doing. And thank you, Will, for being so gracious to allow me to step away to do so.
Dude, I appreciate you playing injured because, you were playing on that 5 megabyte upload speed. So I appreciate you coming through, bro. Nonetheless.
What is wild, and then we'll shut up about this, is that's what they use to like stream Hulu or whatever. Like, because they still watch like Netflix and Hulu at night, my mom and dad. And I'm like, do you guys ever have buffering issues or anything? They're like, no. But I guess if you have no devices attached to it, drawing from that. But I'm like, y'all, I think you can pay like another like 99 cents to get that new like updated speed. So let's go Spectrum Internet over there.
It was really making their shit accessible. If you can stream on 5 megabytes upload speed, that's pretty low. That's pretty remarkably low. Yeah. So anyway, we did get a comment about Cheddar Bay biscuits. I don't know if those are at Texas Roadhouse.
No, that's Red Lobster, bro. Come on now.
That's what I thought. But I guess maybe that's the competition. I don't know. You're gonna have to let us know. He, she, we, big boobs, because I'm not sure it's competition or something. Zach Davenport, smash that MF like button, bro. Thank you so much for joining this fine Friday evening. Appreciate you, bro, for the kind words. I don't know what to watch tonight. Well, you're watching everything you need to watch right now. You can just watch this stream and then watch it on replay, and then you'll probably be good for the rest of the night. Dinesh, hey all, Dinesh channel member. Thank you so much, Dinesh, for being a channel member, being awesome, bro. Love Dinesh, such a great dude. Thank you so much for joining, Dinesh. Bruce Leon, okay. I gotta always like get ready for what he's gonna say because I have to read it. When the sun reaches high noon and you see Logan and Cad Bane square off, about to draw, little do they know this is wild card Willie's town, and I'll use his foxy feet if need be to keep the peace. Dude, sounds like a card, like a greeting card of some kind. Some kind of, I don't know. It sounds
a beautiful poem right there, or whatever that may be.
Bruce is just a poetic type of dude. I don't know how else to describe him, but it's beautiful. Cad Bane, yo, Safo, we're gonna talk about it, bro. And I'm actually gonna shit on Carlos when we talk about Cad Bane because I really want to say.
I can't wait for that. Then,
yeah, that's gonna be great, bro. Sam Logan, hey everyone, happy Friday. What is up, Sam? Paul Sue, good to see you, Paul. Saturday greetings from Taiwan, dude. Happy Saturday. Bet Will's thrilled about Cad's Bane release, dude. I am. I have him on order with Sideshow because I had ordered before I made the deal with Comic Concepts with Sideshow. So I ordered way back, and they still have not emailed me yet, but he has paid off. So very excited about that. Connor, what is up, bro? Thank you for joining. Dahlia Meyer, fellow Loki fan. Thank you so much, Dahlia, for being here. There he is, Mike Litteris. He's here, the man himself. Need a diagram for him. But what's up, people? What's up? The Collector #1. What's up? Hope everyone's doing great. Good to see you, bro. Maxim M. Good to see Maxim. Better than evil. Happy Friday. Will you be on Threads like Keco and myself? Dude, Kiko's gonna have to get me on Threads because I know nothing about it besides what Keco is posting.
I'm gonna be honest, Will, you don't need to join Threads as of right now until they figure out what they are doing and has an actual direction. Mm-hmm. If you're following me, obviously follow me, go for it, all that stuff. But I am losing interest quick.
Okay. Well, I'm losing interest and I've never even had any. So, if you're losing interest, then I'm losing interest. So Collector Joey, what's up, good friends? What's up, guys? Check out Collector Joey channel. Joey's such a great dude, doing live streams, videos, great stuff. Check out Collector Joey. Joey, be safe when you drive home, bro. I know you're commuting home right now. G17 Collectibles, yo, it's Friday night once again. Finally, hello to all. Hello, good to see you, bro. Connor, Keco, where is the next Daenerys? I need to know. In art 2029. Is that right, Keco?
I mean, that is the next Daenerys that is scheduled, but that's not even been teased yet. We've heard a name, but we've not seen anything.
Well, 3-0 teased one, didn't they?
They didn't tease anything. They just said it's coming. I mean, until they show like the Superman cape or whatever as a tease. I don't want to get off on an in-art, bash right now, but think about all the things that have been teased that have never even been revealed. I can think of Superman, that weird, some type of Japanese Joker or something like that, where it showed like those little like pieces.
Oh yeah, it's a Chinese film, I think. Yeah,
a Chinese film. I mean, there's a lot that's been teased that still hasn't even been revealed yet. So in art, step your game up.
Yeah, it's true. Well, Connor, the goats, dude, appreciate it, bro. I don't know for the goats, but I appreciate it. We try to be. Ishiwibu's Take Yo Panties Off. Craig Robinson, this is that dude. That's a great film. I watched
one of the best movies of all time.
It's one of the best comedy films ever, dude. Seriously, guys, if you've not watched this to the end, it's so good, so good. Legolas win, dude. Mark, Kiko and I are with you, Mark. We want Legolas. So, well, actually, no, Kiko doesn't. I'm speaking. Kiko wants Daenerys, but I think Kiko has good taste sometimes. Then he tells me that he doesn't like Lord of the Rings, and I'm just like, what the fuck, dude? What the fuck is going on?
It is what it is.
Yeah, it's true. We're going to disagree sometimes. So, yeah, Keco, I still laugh, dude. Every time I think about you, you're like, Will, I don't want to hear your ass come to Tennessee and tell me you like that blue Batman because
it's coming, bro. I know it's coming soon.
Yeah, I know. Swoosh, what's up, bro? Flash the SCCC next week. Can't wait. Are you going? Well, hoping to catch you, dude. I was, but now I'm not, unfortunately, because no one is going as far as the retailers and Sideshow and other companies like that. And also, yeah, my place that my housing, I guess, fell through. So that's kind of why I had to cancel last minute. So fortunately, I would not be there. But I do want to do other things. So anyway, Mike Fella, and I do want to go again next time when it's a better situation. It's been forever since I got to check out a live stream. Mike Fella, dude, we're doing good, man. Hopefully you're doing well with all those exclamation points. He said my mod spaces look great. Thanks so much, bro. Thanks so much. Let's see. Marco Polo is here, the collector number 1. I am Ricky Freaky is here. Chris Santos is here. Jose Hernandez is here. What's up, Keco? That Costco is definitely the real deal. Yeah, she is, bro, from what I've seen. Cheddar Biscuits, of course. Mary Sullivan is here. Good afternoon. We got a lot of people here. Natalie G is here. Collector Joey mentioned. What's everyone thinking about Fennec? First FOMO I've had. Hey, well, Keco could probably give his thoughts, but we will talk maybe a little bit about Fennec. But before I do that, I want to ask some questions here, guys. We got to talk about something interesting. And I want to share really the grail to rule all grails, Keco, has been released, and I know he is on his way to you. The big blue alien cowboy guy from Star Trek out there is pretty much Cad Bane, and I'm pretty excited. I hope the rest of the world is excited too, because I think he looks dope, bro. I think he looks dope. And again, I wanna shit on Carlos for a second, because Keco, you know what Carlos said to me? He said that this is a trash figure because there's no weathering. And then I said, you know what? Keco has refuted your point. He has shown me an actual picture of the costume.
I have receipts, bitch.
That showed very little weathering. And he said, I don't care. It still looks like shit. And I was like, well, you got to pick one, bro. You got to pick a lane. It's either accurate or it's not. Right? I think it looks great, bro. I think it looks great. I think this Cad Bane looks really, really cool. Yes, would I have liked to see a little bit more weathering? Yes, I would have. However, it's fine. It's fine. Yes, he looks a little bit dry cleanery, but doesn't rule out the awesomeness of the figure to me. Keco, give me your thoughts on this Cad Bane, bro, so we can go back and forth. I know you're probably going to be close to me, though, on this one, I think.
Yeah, so this will be delivered during this show. So for some reason, I'm always at the end of the DHL drop-off points. And so usually 6 o'clock is like the last delivery. And it's not here yet. So it will be delivered in the middle of this show. So if you want me to show it during the show, we certainly can. If we want to do some live unboxing, that's completely up to you. Dude. But with that being said, I don't know outside of the weathering what there is to complain about. There is a great shelf presence with the height of this, which is really, really cool. There is 3 face plates that you're putting on for interchangeable expressions. There is almost kind of like a real felty velvet hat, which is cool. And if you get the deluxe, which is something we can talk about, you get Toto, which is awesome. And so I don't know what more outside of the weathering, as I said, you'd be wanting from a figure, because I know, Will, you're not a big fan of the Clone Wars, but if you're a Clone Wars fan, whoever thought you would get a 6-scale hot toy of Cad Bane a couple years ago? Even no one ever thought that. I know that when they started saying, oh, we're going to start doing the Clone Wars line, people thought maybe, but it going to be the stylized version, things like that. But this is look at that. Just the tip of the hat, the multiple expressions, it looks like great posability. I'll be able to speak to that myself very, very shortly. But man, Will, I don't know why, if you're a Star Wars fan and a Clone Wars fan in particular, why this doesn't do it for you, especially because this is a screen capture of how he looked in Book of Boba Fett. Because as you had said, people were complaining about the weather, and I was like, hold on. I was at Star Wars Celebration when they had the Mando experience and they had the actual prop or costume on display, and I have footage of it on my Instagram, so feel free to check that out. It looks like this. It's not weathered. Very minimal weathering, if at all. So if you want a screen representation of Cad Bane, there you go. Now, the other big complaint that people didn't like in Book of Boba Fett is that his hat was not big enough. They're like, it's not the cowboy wide brim hat from the Clone Wars or the sombrero looking hat. Okay, go get a custom hat. I'm sure there's going to be some third parties out there doing it, but damn, I think this looks absolutely incredible. I mean, who doesn't want a blue-faced alien in their collection? I mean, it's got the contrast, because if you're a color person like me and you do design and things like that, the contrast of the brown and the blue and how that goes together. It's a beautiful designed figure, visually speaking. And Will, I'm going to let you take it over from here. I mean, what are you excited about as far as this
Dude,
goes? Because I
I
think I hit on
absolutely
all the
love this.
highlights.
You did, bro. You did. And I absolutely love this figure, man. I don't have it in hand yet because, like I said, I'm still waiting on Sideshow to ship mine. However, Sideshow did do their unboxing, and I showed a couple shots from, I want to give Dante a shout out, man, Collectibles, because I was watching his review. He has some crispy shots and some really cool poses with this Cad Bane figure. So, guys, check out his review, man, Collectibles. It is out there. I just wanted to pull this up to showcase it real quick. Dude, this figure is amazing, man. I really, really like it. But also, I'm a huge fan of Cad Bane, specifically from Book of Boba Fett. I have not even really watched him in Clone Wars. I've barely watched Clone Wars. I've watched like half of the first season. So I had no introduction to Cad Bane until the Book of Boba Fett. Dude, I think that scene with Cobb Vanth and Cad Bane is one of the best Star Wars scenes of all time. I think it is incredible. I think it captures that Western vibe. I absolutely love everything about it. Cad Bane's introduction in that scene, I've watched that scene a ton of times. I just love it. That tends to be what I do when I go after characters that I truly love. I think of that one scene typically, that one scene where they steal the show, and that's what happens. Book of Boba Fett, for all its problems, Cad Bane in that episode with that showdown was incredible, dude. And the way he just walks off and he's like, yep, Spice will keep running. Everyone will be left alone, right? And just walks off into the desert. It's like, dude, that is a fucking entrance. That is an entrance. And you talk about contrast, dude, shelf presence. This figure is going to have a ton of shelf presence. For one, like you said, he's tall, he's big, right? He's blue. He has red eyes. Like, he just looks kind of sort of demonic like, alien like. And I just think he has a badass presence. He's like a demonic alien cowboy. Like, he just really,
what more
really
do you
cool.
want? I mean,
I
that's
know,
awesome.
dude. You got three things there combining with also the contrast. He has sort of the I guess bandolier on the waist or something like that. I don't know what the exact cowboy term is, but it looks great, right? I think the color scheme looks great. Yes, the coat could use a little bit of weathering. However, it's not the end of the world. It's not going to make or break the figure for me, right? I do get the big hat thing, but Sideshow is probably going to make that Cad Bane, I think. They teased it a while ago. Maybe they're not going to make it. I don't know. But if you do want that one, yeah, you just go that route. This is the live action version. They had to make it a little toned down when you adapt things. You tone it down and fit the medium you're on, right? That scene is just incredible. And that's really what I'm going after. So I'm going to put him in a sort of character pose, cowboy-like pose, maybe with the hat tipped down so you can barely see his face. And then with him holding a gun or something. Can't wait to get this, man. This has been one of my most anticipated figures for a long time. And I think, honestly, they did a good job with it. Just the weathering, but so what? I mean, that's, look, should it have been weathered? Yeah, I mean, maybe, but maybe not. I don't know. Maybe it's accurate. But to me, it's not a deal breaker. So,
yeah, I don't think that's the deal breaker at all. And just for rumors on the street, if you are considering this, I know he's currently waitlisted both versions on Sideshow. Join the waitlist, because if it converts, great. If not, then you're not really out anything if you didn't really want it. But the rumors are, in addition to this being a hype figure, is that this is potentially a low batch like Crosshair. And we all know how that predicament went. So don't wait. If you really do have an affinity for this character, join the wait list, get on there. If you don't have it already pre-ordered, highly recommend that, because I do think, because of the faceplates, I mean, you can do so much. That's the thing I like. Yeah, the PER system, rolling eyes is cool, but when you can change multiple mouths and facial expressions at will, that is cool to me. I think that's the coolest feature.
Right. Yeah, and it's pretty cool, man. And just showing off, like you said, you can pose this guy however you want. He just has a lot of, I don't know, he just looks really cool. He looks pretty much exactly like he did in the show to me. Like he looks pretty much dead on. So, I mean, even just standing up, straight there with nothing crazy going on, he has a lot of presence, dude. A ton of presence. I just think this figure is really, really cool. And this one, honestly, that you're going to put on your shelf that people are going to be drawn towards. So that's what I would say. And look, I think this is going to be in the figure of the year conversation. Maybe it doesn't beat Moon Knight for most people, but I think it's going to be in the conversation. Maybe it doesn't beat Carnage, but it will probably be in the conversation. So, I don't know. We'll see when I get it in hand, but I'm just a huge fan of Cad Bane, specifically from Book of Boba. So I've wanted this figure for a while. When they announced it, I was like, yeah, that's pretty much a dopo for me. Like
he literally just got dropped off at my doorstep right now. So
ooh,
good for Cad Bane. He's here.
Dude, nice. Okay, well, maybe we can grab him at some point then and showcase him. But dude, it looks great, man. I just can't, and look, I'm just messing with Carlos. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. I just like to mess with him. So it's, look, it is what it is. Everyone's going to disagree. People said the same things about Pennywise. Remember, he wasn't weathered enough. People said the same things about Moon Knight. He wasn't weathered enough. I get it. Hot Toys maybe should do a little bit more weathering. But Justin pointed out something on the live stream last night. He said every time a brush is picked up, it costs money. Right. So they're probably not weathering as much just because they're trying to cut costs as much as possible. It's tough out there right now, man. It's tough. So, yeah, I mean, look, you can always weather it yourself if you feel like, Chrome Mando was too weathered for most people.
That's a great point, because for as much bitching as people did, they're like, it's too weathered. Well, they're like, okay, fine. No more weathering for you. That's a great point, Will.
Right.
Great point.
It's a good counter too. I mean, I guess there's always a middle ground, right? But, maybe it should be a little bit more weathered. But if you feel that way, you could easily weather this. So, if you want to. Same with Moon Knight, right? So, but I'm excited. Guys, let us know in the chat below whether you're picking up Cad Bane. For me, I just can't wait for Sideshow to ship mine. It's all paid off. Hopefully, Sideshow, you ship them out soon, because I haven't seen any emails go out. So, nothing's gone out yet. But I think you can still get him on other places. I think other places might still have Cad Bane. So, if you're looking for him, you can find him. So, anyway, guys, thank you so much for your thoughts on that one, Mr. Keco. I'm excited, bro, about Cad Bane. Let's talk about something still Star Wars, but I don't know if I'm not feeling great about these, Keco, because this is the Clone Troopers and Bark Speeder, right? And I want to bring these up because, look, I admit, again, I'm not the biggest Clone Wars guy, but my question is, in regards to these troopers, for one, I mean, what are your overall thoughts about them? But two, do we really need these? I'm just thinking, in the market that we have right now, this was announced obviously a while ago, so things were different, perceptions were different, so forth, right? But in the market we have right now, everything's a little saturated. There's so many options. Space is getting more limited for more collectors, I feel, even myself, right? For all of us. And then you got this big ass speeder and more clone troopers. This could go one of two ways, in my opinion. One, they sit forever because they made too many of them. Or two, they don't sit at all because they made very few of them because no one really pre-ordered it. So I don't know, Keco, what are your thoughts on these? Do we really need these? Because these are space killers, despite them looking pretty cool. What do you think?
I've never been more uninterested in a release than this. And it's not just the fact that it's more 501st, because talk about doing another division or battalion at some point. I mean, we have just gotten nothing but blue 501st troopers ever since they started doing clone troopers. So getting a little bit long in the tooth on that. With that being said, okay, now we have a vehicle again. And I already told you with the speeder bikes, unless you have the right place to put them, vehicles, and I just did a video on this, vehicles are a tough get, honestly. And right behind me are there we go. Right behind me are the only real vehicles that I have, but they're actual cars. Okay. This is just a really big waste of space unless you have the spot to already put it, because it's not going in a DTOF. You need to light it well. And then to accentuate this even more, you can get the speeder, but then you can get the sidecar to go along with it. And it's get even bigger at that point. And to me, for one, I think it's boring. Two, I think it's too big. Three, I think it's a little bit just too basic at this point. And I don't need these just army building pieces at all. Now, here's the thing I would say. If you're a clone army builder at this point, sure, throw them on in there, keep army building, do what you got to do. But for me, I've decided, and I understand that there is, a named clone here, with Apo, but I'm not doing any more of just the generic clones. I have too many of them at this point, and they're all at this point really repetitive. I know they're clones, go figure, but I only want the named ones and the ones that come with head sculpts, honestly, because that's where you can differentiate them, and to where, especially if it's a different head sculpt, whether it be Jesse with the big tattoo on his face, all the Bad Batch figures, obviously, because they have different head sculpts and they're unique. But I'm kind of cloned out at this point, man. And I think these are going to sit longer than the speeder bikes do, because I thought everyone wanted the Scout Trooper because that's a really cool look, and to get like a speeder bike, and those are sitting everywhere. I thought the Blurg was cool, and those are sitting everywhere. This is cool, but it's going to be sitting everywhere. And I think this will make Hot Toys take a step back and be like, do we really want to do vehicles anymore? No one's buying them. Right. They're hard to display. And I know, last thing I'll say is that, the Jazz Inc. Snow Speeder is out there shipping, and that thing is fucking massive. Vehicles are big. Like 6-scale figures are big in general. You start adding things that they ride in, it gets out of control. And I've said it before, for all those people saying Mando N1 cruiser coming soon. Not coming, man. It's not coming.
Keco, I'm starting to actually believe you, and I think I actually might be with you on this one, because the more I kind of see what the market is doing right now, and I'm looking at what's selling and what's not selling, and the amount of space and income that people are willing to dedicate to these figures nowadays, like you said, vehicles are hard to display. They just are. They take up a lot of space, a lot of real estate. And even with this bark speeder, right? Even if you're not taking up a ton of depth, you're taking up that width and that length, right? So that's a factor here you have to factor in. For most collectors, you could have that, or you could have maybe 3 to 4 figures. So, and that's the decision that you're going to have to make at some point. And that's why I don't have the tumbler right now. If I had infinite space, I would buy the tumbler and I would display
and
it.
usually vehicles are very fragile, especially bikes and things. Talk about the Bat Pod, talk about speeder bikes. They're very fragile and very finicky. And to me, like, unless it's a massive car like the Batmobile or something like that,
right?
I just don't think the speeders are worth it or something like that. And I said this in my other video about vehicles. Like, Star Wars has some incredible designs, but outside of speeders, what are you going to make that's Star Wars other than a speeder? And I'm just done with, speeders. I don't need 50 speeders at all.
Right. Yeah, and it's interesting, dude. I mean, it could be one of those where, I mean, maybe people do one. I mean, I'm seeing some comments. People are saying it's sold out everywhere. So the one thing too that I always want to stress with people is this: honestly, in today's market, sold out means shit, nothing. Like, it means absolutely nothing, because because the market, I can just tell you, it doesn't care, right? So basically, for example, I can give you an example of that. Ahsoka, right, has been sold out on Sideshow for a really long time. Comic Concepts can't sell theirs. And people know that Ahsoka sold out, and supposedly people want
the Mando right? Ahsoka.
Yeah, Mando Ahsoka, right? So it's part of those situations where I think some people don't realize, just because it's sold out doesn't mean that people really care that much to go pay for it. Like, it just means that maybe so little people cared for it that it sold out quickly. Cad Bane, I don't know. It's hard to say. Maybe it's low batch, maybe it's not. I don't know. These clones, though, people love their clones. I'm not going to say people don't like their clones. I'm not going to say they're bad figures, because there are a lot of collectors out there who absolutely love clone troopers, and they have amazing displays with a ton of clones, which we'll talk about that general idea of collecting soon. But I think that's something too that we need to realize too, that sold out doesn't necessarily equal popular, and sold out doesn't also necessarily equal that people are willing to pay over retail or above retail to get it. So that's because I can just tell you, like, when you're trying to sell things on the secondary market, I have had plenty of figures that have been sold out for a long time, and I did not get anywhere close to retail for them. So that, I think, is something that people might need to realize too. So yeah, it doesn't, sold out is something, but it doesn't necessarily mean that, maybe sitting isn't the correct term, but as far as demand, that might be the better way to look at it, right? But I don't know. It's a cool figure and it's a cool vehicle. I'm starting to wonder, Keco, you make a really valid point about the quality of vehicles, right? Not the quality of vehicles, but the longevity of vehicles and the practicality of vehicles for these businesses. Are they going to stop making them? Because I don't know, man. I don't know. Times are tough, and I don't know if we're gonna. I'm starting to think I'm with you that I don't think the N1's happening. I just think in today's,
because you're not just making vehicles and figures. You have to then design boxes and think about what the shipping cost is going to be for a box that size. And the math ain't mathing if in some areas, for me, in my opinion. I may be wrong completely about that. Like I said, some people are saying, they're sold out everywhere. Maybe they did also make 10 of them because they're like, I'm not going to sit there and go too deep onto this line. And maybe they did only make 10. I don't know. But for me personally, I'm cloned out. No more vehicles. I got all the ones that I want. And so.
And these are dope. I like the color scheme, but it's just, I'm just not a clone guy.
I'm tired of blues. I want something else at this point.
Yeah, I get I'm not quite the audience. I do agree with that comment, but I do think that, just thinking about what people are actually going to buy nowadays, it's interesting. I'm not picking this up, but I'm happy for the people that are, right? So, and they look good. They look good, and the ship looks good. I don't know if have I had a Hot Toys vehicle before? I don't know. I guess I have. Yeah, I've had the Game Toys bike that I really, really love.
You could have had the tumbler, Will. And I know there's a space underneath Drogon where you could put the tumbler.
I could, but dude, it would be like dwarfed in there in that cabinet. But yeah, I could put a lot. That's for statues probably, but yeah, there will be room there. But anyway, guys, let us know if you're picking up the bark speeder. I mean, if you are, then I can see right now it's 77% saying they're not picking it up. So I think that tells you, right? But I guess we'll see. I'm happy for the people that are, not to be negative about it, but I just also want to look at you know, the situation that we're in right now, which is not great. It's not great. So anyway, let's talk about something a little bit different. The Spider-Man 2 figures, right? These are announced to be exclusive. So I'm super excited about this game. So I want to see how other people are going to feel about this game because I cannot wait for it. I really enjoyed the first one and I really enjoyed the Miles Morales spin-off game, which I thought was also really good. So I'm excited to see what they're going to do with these Spider-Man figures. So this is the advanced suit Spider-Man. They also have a Miles Morales because obviously he is the co-lead of the second game because he is awesome. His combat, his moves are awesome, and his character is awesome. So they got him and they got Peter Parker. They have not announced the symbiote version yet, but you can see what they did was they made these limited edition. They actually have more of these worldwide than Sideshow is actually going to be carrying, but Sideshow is going to be carrying 500 of the Miles Morales, and then it was let's see here, the 1,000 of Peter Parker, right? So I know there's 3,000 Peters worldwide, and then I think there's 1,500 Miles worldwide, right? So yeah, Sideshow's getting about a third of the overall distribution effort. So Keco, does exclusivity make sense for these two figures? Because this is different. These are main characters of a franchise, and they decided to go exclusive for these two. What do you think? I mean, is this the wave of the future here? Does exclusivity make sense for these two?
It certainly does for me because I'm going to sound like an elitist here and a gatekeeper and all that, but to me, and I know there's subtle differences between this Peter Parker, but the Miles is almost identical to the one that was already released. And this makes sense to just be a limited run because if you want those originals and you want some representation from the Spider-Man game, you probably either have them already or you can get them regularly, readily available. I don't think this is the end of the world because I don't think there's anyone that's saying, I wanted the one that the little tweaked shoulder looking piece or whatever on my Miles. I can't get it now. You can go and get either of them, whether that's Bodega Catsuit or the other one that's got like the little snow toboggan. Take the snow toboggan off. It's the exact same figure, almost to a T. Now, I know the Waldos on the Spider Peter Parker one are a little bit different. And from what I hear, there are a little bit of differences in the suit. But yes, I RSVP'd to see if I can grab these. Great. But if not, I'll be like, oh, cool. Look, I got them sitting in my shelf already. But that's what it comes down to this. And I think that they know that if they end up doing the symbiote suit, that's the one that everyone is going to rush out for. Because if you're have only minor differences on a suit moving from one franchise game to the next, how many people are going to buy two of these and put them in there if they look identical? They're like, well, the game didn't change that much. We need to put something out. Let's just limit these figures because I think that's going to be the smarter move because you could probably, with the average person, I understand there's some diehards out there, but for the average person, you can get the suit version 1.0 from the first game, put it next to it, and the average person would have no idea the difference between the two. And that's okay. Let that be an exclusive for those that are diehards and really want the upgrade for Spider-Man 2. Now, I know a lot of people are saying as well that, oh my goodness, the suit is different. You can be more posable, all that stuff. We don't know that yet. And it looks rubbery to me. Some people are saying it's like the stretch fabric. It doesn't look that way to me. I've seen all like the secret base, like pictures and all that stuff. It looks the same type of stuff to me. Maybe I'm completely wrong. Yeah, you get a couple other accessories. And I know there's a little more blue down the sides. He looks like he's wearing overalls in this version. But you know what? I got the original. I got the original Miles. It's not going to break my head if I don't end up getting, the 2.0s. Be cool if I do, but it's not going to be the end of the world for me. So that is exclusivity. And everyone's got these already, in my opinion.
Yeah, and this is a tough one because Keco, I do see the upgrades as far as this Advanced Suit Spider-Man because I know you have it. I had that original Advanced Suit Spider-Man because I love the game, and I sold that figure at one point because I was thinking, well, I can move on from it, right? But if I end up getting like the second game and really, really loving it, maybe this is a figure I do go back and go searching for because I have a video game display where this Spider-Man would look great in, right? But I don't know, man. I do see the upgrades on the Spider-Man. I'm having a little bit of a harder time seeing the upgrades or the differences on Miles, right? I think
and looks also no head sculpts either.
Right. Yeah, no likenesses. But I guess they're video games, so you would have to do sort of like what they did maybe with Into the Spider-Verse or something similar, maybe a little more realistic. But I don't know. I mean, I do see why they went exclusive here. The reason I think they did that, honestly, is because they were worried that maybe these two might not sell in the volume that they wanted to, and making them exclusive is going to get more sales than maybe you would have gotten if you just left it wide open, right? I just think, again, there's so many figures, bro. There's so many figures out there, and there's so many Spider-Man figures. And as great as these characters and as great as these suits are, a lot of people would look at this and be like, well, that one is better, but I already have it, or I already have enough Spider-Man, or I have other priorities, right? But you put this exclusive tag on it, and now you got people's attention. You're like, oh shit, do I want this? And they'll just get it because then they'll decide later, right? That's why. So I think this was honestly a good move. I think to make it exclusive like this, you got people's attention. Now people are going to buy it for the people who want it. And then the people that don't are going to obviously be upset. But, I don't want every figure to be exclusive, but I do like that Hot Toys is trying to, because they got to bring more value back to their brand a little bit. I mean, like, look, they just do. They don't want to become Funko Pop. They don't want to do that. Absolutely. They don't want to become the 6 scale of that. I mean, look, value is not everything, but at the end of the day, you don't want to overproduce with decreasing demand. It doesn't make sense business wise. So you got to create a little exclusivity, and then that way you can get people more excited about your brand, and then also create a little bit of FOMO and drive more purchases. So I don't know. I think it makes sense, Keco. What do you think?
Yeah. And so with that being said, for the people, you nailed it when you said with the market and with everything that's out there, if you already have the first one, if it was a wide release, most people would say, do I need to upgrade at this point? Because as you said, everyone knows if they have to get the upgrade, they're not going to be able to move the other one without taking a massive loss as well. So I think you're really onto something there, is that the exclusive tag is at this point a very smart business decision to make sure that you drive hype, as you said, make sure the product is sold, and don't paint yourself into a corner. I think you nailed that, man.
I think so too. So thanks, bro. So did you. I think we nailed it together, man. So guys, let us know in the chat whether you're considering picking these up. Right now it's 70% no on it, which is a little bit higher than I thought it would be, but I bet you the numbers would be higher if it weren't exclusive. I can tell you that, that exclusive tag gets people's attentions. I always give the example. I mean, it's not exclusive so much, but like when you shop, it's like a buzzword. So when you shop at the grocery store and you see organic, people just go for it. They just
100%.
It's just the same thing. It's the same, it's in terms of exclusive. It's like, oh, exclusive. I don't want to wait then. Like it's rare. So that's why they want to get that, because look, we and everyone else have been preaching the no PO strategy, right? And Sideshow and Hot Toys want to get away from that. They want to incentivize you to pre-order. I wouldn't be surprised to start seeing time pre-order windows at some point. They did.
If they came out and flat out said that we're doing timed POs, that would be so helpful instead of the guessing and the waiting for the blue screens. And then before you know it, you wake up one morning and something's gone. That's what makes people mad. But if they wanted to go time PO, I think that would be great. It gives people an opportunity to weigh the options on whether or not they really do want it, and then miss out a few times. It will change your collecting strategy moving forward if that's the way it needs to go. So,
well, dude, I actually wanted to say too, I actually kind of liked what they did as far as the thank you so much, Josh. We'll get to that super chat in just a sec. I actually kind of liked what they did with the timed the exclusive ones, where they say, okay, you have a week to PO this, right? I just think they needed to make the accessories better. Like they needed to give you something a little more substantial where it would be a better, better.
I don't need a damn hologram.
Oh yeah, exactly. I did get the Darth Vader though, because I was like, I don't even really care about that hologram, but I do want that exclusive version for the Darth Vader. So I'm glad my waitlist converted on that one. But yeah, I mean, look, you got to drive pre-order somehow, because if they had not given an exclusive Darth Vader like that, even with the hologram, I probably wouldn't have pre-ordered. I would just wait. I would just wait for it to drop.
Really? Even for a figure that you claim is that good?
Dude, yeah, because I know for a fact that I could get it cheaper. I know for a fact, virtual certainty that figure will eventually be discounted. Like, I don't know. It's crazy. Maybe not if they're changing things. Maybe they're going to do less of them. But
that's what I thought about the Clone Trooper, and it still has never came back. So I am now officially eating my words for all the people I said, don't worry. It's a clone. They'll make William.
Well, dude, they all said, I remember when I interviewed Alter Ego Comics Mark Boker, the owner, and he told me, he was like, change is coming. He's like, just be prepared. Right now it's a buyer's market, but it's not going to be forever. Things will change. And, everyone's sitting on dead stock.
I'm for it.
Yeah, me too. Anyway, thanks so much, guys. Josh, thanks so much, bro. Appreciate you, bro. I tried to get Josh on, but he's busy today, so we'll have to get him on sometime soon. During my Secret Invasion review, but had to jump in real quick to show some love to our Lord and say, dude, that's some high praise. I don't know if I'm a prophet, but I appreciate the kind words, bro. That would be great, but I don't think that's the case, unfortunately. But thank you so much, bro. Guys, check out McCoy Culture, Josh McCoy, great dude, and excellent content over there. Live streams, reviews, everything under the sun. The guy is awesome. So check him out for sure. So anyway, thank you so much, Josh. Guys, let's talk about something a little bit different here. Oh yeah, I wanted to bring something up. So this is something I kind of roundabout heard about, Keco, and I don't know if I got a chance to really introduce this topic too much to you, but essentially Mars Toys released that Joker, the Romero Joker, right? It was the 66 Joker, the one in the pink suit and the makeup and all that. And the first batch was supposedly really, really good. And then now there have been some buyers that have been getting the second batch in, and some people have been reporting issues like with the bodies, with posing, with things like that. And then Mars Toys eventually put out a statement saying like, hey, like we're going to do better. We heard you, so forth, right? So I can pull up that statement real quick, but essentially, yeah, they were just like, hey, we hear you and we are listening and we're going to do better with these with these releases and such like that. And I know for, there have been a few people that have posted things. I was only able to find one, so I actually want to share it real quick. I want to thank Brandon Salad for sending me this video of his showing the second batch of the Joker here. So you can hear the squeakiness, I think. And yeah, just kind of a lot of tipping. Look at the joints there.
Yeesh.
Yeah, so a little bit rough, right? Not exactly ideal. So I got to give kudos to Brandon. Thank you so much, bro, for sharing that with us. But again, I don't know this is indicative of the entire batch, but it's interesting that there are second batch issues, but the first batch was totally fine. And these issues were not there, not present, right? So super interesting to hear that. But yeah, I don't know. But Keco, what do you make of this, man? What's the takeaway here? I mean, do we trust third parties any less because of these issues? I mean, what do you think?
It's a great question.
I mean, because, we're always a little skeptical with third party anyway.
Yeah,
right?
But here's my thing is that I don't think anyone expected that Romero Joker to explode the way it did and the demand. And they said, shit, people really want this. Batch 2, here we go. How many are we going to make? Well, I don't know. We got any of those cheap bodies laying around? And I think they for real cut costs and then passed that on to the consumer, who then obviously bought it at the normal price. And now we're sitting there looking. And if they issued a statement and it's not just one figure, then they got caught with their hand in the cookie jar, that they tried to half-ass a release. And I hope that that is a warning shot across the bow saying, hey, don't fuck around with your product when it comes to those things. We gave you a great look into something. That's really suspect to me if they made a statement about it because they know how shitty it was. That was a really interesting video with the squeaking and the broken arms, because it looks like that's a cost-cutting method and they tried to scam, and that's a really, really bad look. And so I know Mars has had a good track record recently, but that's not the greatest thing you want to see.
Yeah, it's not. And like, look, and I really trust Kit, 16 Kit. He said a lot of things about this, saying like the batch, it was like very little people providing, claims in terms of issues for batch 2. So overall, it just does seem to be a minor issue. But however, it is something worth noting that, there are reports out there, people experiencing issues with the second batch. So sometimes these can happen, manufacturing issues, maybe issues with the factories or whatever. I don't necessarily think that Mars Toys is like trying to rip anyone off or anything like that. I do think they seem to be a really good company and they do listen to people. So yeah, and Hot Toys sometimes pulls some shit like this too. I mean, not with figures where in terms of the bodies themselves, but in terms of maybe a lack of weathering, or maybe the suit's a little bit different, or the color's a little bit different, or the head sculpt is different, something like that. So there are some changes, but from batch 1 to batch 2, you wouldn't really expect to see.
Well, that's my question, is that if obviously they are just going to reissue, their second batch or whatever it may be, why make an apology unless you know you did something wrong? That's my question, is that is what gives me some pause. And it'd be different. It'd be like, hey, we had some QC issues from our supplier, whatever it may be. I think they got caught. And personally, I'm glad they addressed it. And hopefully that gives a warning to other people. Don't fuck around.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
And boy, that squeak is really painful.
Dude, honestly, man, that's just the case sometimes with cheap bodies that are used. Because I just sold the CC Toys clicker, and he sounded like that too. And that's just how he always sounded, because they used a really cheap body. So I mean, look, with the first batch, I did not hear that complaint, so I don't know why this is happening now. But I will say, Kit got Brandon a replacement. So Kit and Mars Toys are on it. Got to give them credit for making things right. So that is something that needs to be noted for sure. So yeah, I think it's pretty cool that they're making things right by people, and doesn't seem to be a super widespread issue, but it is something worth noting and monitoring. Sometimes maybe we put a little bit of trust in sort of propping some of these companies, but we need to be a little bit skeptical from time to time as well. We all do this. So anyway, guys, let us know your thoughts on the Mars Toys Joker Batch 2 issue. Is there any sort of takeaway that you have? Is there anything of note or, but I still think Mars Toys does some great work. I'm excited to see what they do with Last of Us. And they have that Breaking Bad Gus figure that they're working on. Got to give them a lot of credit for that. That one, they said they weren't happy with how the glasses were turning out and how things were looking. So they went back to the drawing board and they're redoing a lot of it. So look, they're dedicated. They've shown people that they'll fix these issues. So got to give them credit with that. So anyway, Keco, I got to ask you some other questions. Actually, no, we got a super chat real quick, and then we'll move on to that. I always forget sometimes. So guys, I'm so sorry. My apologies. Batman Collectibles, thank you so much, bro. He said, I've been eyeballing the Batman XE suit for a while, but would never cave. Bought it for $200 total. See? That's my point, man. If you're willing to be patient, you can get almost any hot toy for cheaper. Like, besides maybe the super grails like Darkseid Anakin or Yondu. But short of that, especially ones that have been released nowadays, man, it's just easy to get them for cheaper. Like, I'm not surprised you got this for cheap because these deals are out there. These deals are certainly.
And the XE suit is an incredible figure.
It's a big boy.
Yep.
It's a big boy. But thank you so much, Batman Collectibles, bro. Thanks for sharing that story and that situation, which we will talk more about this in a sec. We'll get to some more of this general topic. But yeah, it is something worth monitoring for sure with the Mars Toys thing. So anyway, Keco, I want to ask you a question here. And this is something I think that is going to be an interesting discussion. So we pretty much covered most of our news, right? But I want to ask the question here. And this is something that Justin and I talked about on the stream last night. And everyone's going to be different in how they approach this. I want to show a really good example of a collection that looks, I have not heard of this collector, but I just looked up a Star Wars collection. And this collection looks really, really good, right? It's all Star Wars stuff. It's detailed stuff. It's super clean. It's organized. It's great. Justin was giving some advice last night saying, what do you recommend to people who blah, 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 like have, issues with space and XYZ? And there's always advice thrown out there. And I think I've given this advice maybe sometimes too, like at least earlier, where I've said, maybe stick to one IP to start, maybe one IP, and that's how you get started. So you can feel organized and not cluttered. And, you can really feel good about your collecting. I'm wondering, Keco, is sticking to one IP bad advice? Everyone's going to collect differently, but I'm just wondering, does the diversity of a collection make it a little more appealing to you to keep your brain fresh and working on different things, and also appealing to other people who might also enjoy your collection? How do you approach this complex topic? Because I think a lot of collectors wrestle with this. Do I go into this other IP I love because I love it, but also it's a rabbit hole? I might buy 5 more figures, or do I just stick in my lane and say to Star Wars? Is it bad advice to stick to one IP? What do you think?
Well, it depends on if you are a huge fan of anything else or not. I mean, if you are only a Star Wars fan, then there's no sense for you to go grab something else by any means. I mean, just to have it. But I think people like us, people that are sci-fi nerds and comic book nerds, things like that, you have multiple, things that are your favorites, whether it be Marvel and DC or DC and Star Wars or whatever it may be. There are multiple things out there. So is it bad to stick to it? Depends on what your point is for collecting. If you want to just keep it for you and you're like, well, I just want to have Star Wars figures because that's what I grew up with, cool. But I will say that there is something beautiful about showing it off to other people. When people come in and they see a wide variety of collecting, because that's the term collecting, is that you're bringing and branching out into multiple things. And so people say, wow, look, there's Jack Sparrow. Wow, look, there's Carnage. Wow, there's Darth Vader. Wow, that's me. I hated seeing myself right there. That was creepy.
Dude, that was the hairstyle too, man.
Yeah, we've had all kinds of different, boy, that was in December. I was super
cold. That was
there.
You got 60K views on this one. This one did really well.
That is. But this is the picture of showing multiple IPs. It's a cool way to look at things, but if that's not your thing and you only like Star Wars, yeah, obviously don't branch into that. For me, here's the way I look at it, is that eventually that well dries up for that one IP. Right now, there's been like 5 Star Wars releases just from Hot Toys right now. Most likely that's going to go dry real soon, and they're going to start pumping out the DC and the Marvel. And so let's say that, Star Wars is your only thing. Once you've collected them all, like Pokemon, what do you do after that? Is there anything else to chase? Do you just wait? Do you just hope? And this is going to get real interesting with all these, strikes and actors guilds and all that stuff. If no movies are coming out, they're not going to be making new figures. So what are you going to do? Are they going to do reissues? Are they going to do deeper dives? A lot of stuff to get into. But if you're a collector and you're just starting, I think one IP is cool. But if you can manage it, why not? Because it's a diversity. Who doesn't want a diverse collection? I think the more diverse it is, the more entertaining it is. One of my guy that I do my podcast with, Dave, he has a cornucopia of all kinds of horror items and Star Wars items, G.I. Joe. It's everything. So when you walk in there, you can say, this guy is a nerd in general. Look at all the stuff he has. And it's not a contest to see how much stuff and shit you can accumulate. It doesn't matter about that. But I do think it shows some diversity in showing that, hey, I'm not just siloed into one thing. And I like seeing multiple IPs for me personally, but obviously teach their own.
Yeah, and everyone's going to be different because I've seen some amazing Marvel only collections. I've seen some amazing Star Wars collections. And in this photo, Keco, this is all Marvel we're seeing right here. And it looks fantastic. Besides, I see a couple, maybe like, I think Tonto or something in there. But other than that, short of it looks like pretty much all Marvel. So yeah, I mean, this
is that the 2.0 Spider-Man down in the corner there. Look, I already got
it certainly looks like it, bro. It's exclusive that Howard Chan sent you directly. So yeah, man. And this is still a really cool collection. And again, I'm not trying to crap on anyone's collection at all. And again, I think ultimately your collection obviously is for you. It's for your own enjoyment, something that you can feel proud of, something that you can come home to and be happy about. But I also want to look at the idea of displaying your collection in a way that I think could also sometimes make you feel proud of other things too. Like, that you have diverse interests, that you explore other things. And sometimes too, this is something I've always tried to drive home. And sometimes people miss out on amazing IPs and amazing pieces because they are so set on, I only collect one thing. I only do this one thing, and they never get to experience the other things. So you're sort of cutting yourself off from experiencing new and possibly great things because you are set on one mindset and one IP. But look, I think everyone can do, what they want to do. Again, I wanted to kind of tackle this topic because this is something that I think a lot of collectors grapple with. This is something that everyone has to think about, new collector or otherwise. Do I dive into other IPs? Do I not? Right. So to me, I think you should. I mean, don't bankrupt yourself. Don't do anything that's going to be ridiculous. Don't spend more money than your budget allows. But I do think you should try to explore some things. And but if you only love Star Wars and Star Wars is your jam and that's it, then collect all Star Wars, dude. Do your thing. But to me, it's just, because I have a lot of Last of Us stuff. I love Last of Us, right? But I also like to leave room for other stuff because I have other IPs that I love too. So I think it's pretty cool. Diversity is great, as is a clean collection. So, but I would say if you're telling people to collect only one IP, it's just like, well, that's kind of telling them, it's like closing yourself off from the Force, right? You are pretty much collecting.
Great example.
Yeah, like it's an analogy. Like you're closing yourself off from the Force. You're closing yourself off from all these other forces that you might also like. It could be temptation, so it depends on your personality. But don't spend.
Imagine only collecting Star Wars, but being a Moon Knight fan, knowing that you can't have that Moon Knight figure, even though you liked the show. I mean, that would be a travesty.
Right. And there's mine I showed, and then there's Keco's, and then like this collector's collection with all the Star Wars looks fantastic. It does. So yeah, it's hard. It would be hard for me to collect just one IP. I think that would be very difficult for me. But I feel like I would just be putting restraints on myself unnecessarily. But yeah, we got to talk about something, Keco, because I promised we would do this because we texted about this and I think you thought I was crazy, but we got to talk about Yellow Wolverine and Deadpool, which actually, due to the strike, has now stopped filming. They have stopped filming the Deadpool 3. And MDL, I will get to your super chat. I promise I want to hit this topic real quick and then I'll jump back to it. But thank you so much for the generosity. But guys, we have some updated photos here of the set of Deadpool 3 with Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds, Wolverine. We got a new Deadpool and a new Wolverine in terms of costume. Deadpool costume, we're going to get some thoughts on this, but I want to see what people, I'll post a poll on this for people, but I think Hot Toys even shared this because Hot Toys is like, yeah, boy, we're going to make both of these and we're going to make some money, especially that Wolverine. Keco, I think you're pretty excited about this Yellow Wolverine. Fill me in on your thoughts, bro.
So this is what people have been clamoring for 20 years. honestly, is when Wolverine first showed up in the first Fox X-Men. They made the joke saying, "What were you expecting? Yellow spandex." And we had gone 20 years with never seeing the real Wolverine. Yeah, we got the kind of Logan look and the black leather. The Day of Future Past was close, if you want to call it that. But you want to talk about comic inspired. For as much crap as we've given Phase 4 for being really all over the place and Phase 5 not starting off very great, one thing that you cannot deny is the embracing of the comic accurate suits. Go all the way back to when the first Avengers came out. Those were modernized takes on the way comic book villains and movie people, superheroes should look. But now that we're into this, you can wear this, and not only does it not get people making fun of you, people embrace this saying, "Holy shit, this is awesome." I mean, if you are a fan of Wolverine and you grew up with, the animated X-Men or anything like that, you played any of the games, you know the iconic yellow suit is who Wolverine is. If you're a real OG, you know the yellow and the brown. Cool. But this one, the tiger stripe, the blue and the yellow, that is Wolverine. And to see not only a Wolverine on your MCU screen, but Hugh Jackman as Wolverine again, it's wild. And to know that it's going to be with the tone of Deadpool, I could not be more thrilled for this movie. And I was talking about this on the podcast with my buddy Dave, is that this truly has the markings of a old school summer blockbuster, because right now, ever since Endgame, we've not really had any massive like comic book blockbusters. A lot of things have just kind of fallen by the wayside. This could really reset everything because it's pulling all the nostalgia back out, because rumors, obviously there's going to be some X-Men in this, okay? Some of your old school X-Men. And if you've seen this photo, they've also showed a photo, which is official. They're fighting in front of a broken 20th Century Fox logo, which is even crazier to think about. Like, what is happening in this movie? And I can't wait to see it. Now, back to the toys that are inevitably going to be coming from this. I know how much white pops on a shelf. I know how much red pops on a shelf. Yellow is going to pop on a shelf. And this thing, it looks incredible. It's better than I ever thought it could. Now, will he wear the cowl? Probably. You can even look at his hair. He's got like the Wolverine like hair kind of.
He does. I noticed that.
It's so well done. And I expect them to potentially rip off the sleeves at some point, in some kind of comedic gag. I've also heard that, because of his skin cancer thing, he wants to have the sleeves on just for safety. Cool. I respect that. Now, and I'll shut up and let you have the keys here. Now, people are complaining about the Deadpool suit. Keep in mind, these are pictures from someone's cell phone. This is not a color graded movie yet. So we don't know what it's going to look like under the actual screen on the screen. So let's pump the brakes, for thinking Deadpool doesn't look good or anything like that. I think it looks incredible. I think this looks awesome. This may be some of the coolest comic book movie looking things that you're going to get. This is it, man. I'm ready.
Yeah.
My body is ready.
Yeah, dude. See, this is super interesting, Keco, because I think, as usual, I'm going to shock or maybe not shock the world here, because the Deadpool to me, bro, like, look, I don't know if this is a cell phone photo. This looks to me like maybe someone shot this with a DSLR, but I don't know. Maybe it is a cell phone photo, because it looks pretty decent quality to me. It's, it's not film grade quality, but it's pretty decent, right? This could be a set photo they're taking behind the scenes. That they obviously shared this as high res photos. That's how they described it. So, the Deadpool suit, to me, as far as this photo is concerned, it looks less maroon than the original Deadpool suits, but I do want to see it in the film. I really like the maroon aspect of the first two Deadpool suits, especially the second one. I thought that one was really, really good. This one looks a little bit brighter red, right? It looks a little bit more like a higher saturated red, basically. So I think it'll be cool in the film. Again, I'm not going to judge the suit without knowing the context of the film, but if I'm just looking at it for now, I think it's okay. It's decent. The Wolverine with the yellow, I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel about this. It looks.
What are you missing? What is the problem? Don't get me upset now. What is the problem?
You know what it reminds me of? The Wolverine meme of him laying in bed with the picture. That's what I.
Yes, and I've seen them of that. I've seen that meme of him laying in the bed looking at the picture, and it's this photo.
Is it? I haven't even seen that. Okay, that would be pretty funny, actually. But dude, honestly, That's actually, they probably do something like that in the film. I'd be willing to bet. I bet there's probably a gag or a joke of some kind with him laying in the bed with a picture of some kind. Like I bet Ryan Reynolds probably find a way to put that in the film.
Oh
but
yeah, this whole thing is just going to be making fun of probably the Fox universe and all that stuff. So I can't
think
wait.
it is too, bro. And it's going to be R apparently. So I'm really excited.
Oh
about
yeah,
that.
hard R, just like the original.
Exactly. So I'm glad that Disney is embracing that and doing an R-rated Deadpool film. I think you got to do.
And they
Deadpool
need a win
R.
at this point for sure.
They do. And you got Wolverine. That's why they're bringing him back. But I don't know. The yellow to me, I don't know. It looks a little too flashy for Wolverine. But I want to see what it's going to look like on the screen. So I get the comic roots. I understand that. But I'm just thinking of what's going to be adapted to the screen in a way that looks natural. And Marvel lately has not been having a great track record. So I don't know, man. I guess the trust in them has slipped a little bit. But I'm glad that Bob Iger came out recently and said what he said. You saw that, Keco, about where he was saying everything was a little oversaturated.
It's funny because he said we have too much stuff on streaming, even though that's what he said to do. And so I love when CEOs say when it goes right, it's my gig, but when it goes wrong, it's your fault. So
yeah,
typical CEO right there.
Right.
Not really thrilled with Bob Iger's comments over the past couple days.
Yeah, I get that. But I mean, I do like that they're going to kind of draw things back a little bit. I do like that because I do think that
let's go for quality over
quality over quantity. Yep, exactly. And I think that's something that Marvel and maybe even Star Wars to a degree have been suffering from. This thing of we need to pump as much content out as possible on streaming and whatever, and then sacrificing quality in the process. So yeah, I mean, I'm still excited to see. Maybe I'll love Wolverine in this suit in the film. Maybe so. We'll see.
I love Mark Attack said, "Will, you're outing yourself as a casual."
I guess so, bro. I mean, look, I haven't read the comics, but I have seen all the films, so I don't know if that makes.
Have you seen the X-Men cartoon?
Yeah, when I was younger, I watched it. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, when I was younger. I don't really remember it though. I don't really remember it. Yeah, it's
better than the theme song, right? I mean, if you heard that, you'd know, right?
Probably. I don't think I would.
What?
Yeah, I don't think I would. Yeah, I knew. I watched a lot of Scooby-Doo growing up. I remember that, but
I do have to keep in mind you're a hair younger than me, but that is inexcusable, Will.
Yeah, I'm 32.
We have a lot of homework to get caught up on.
Yeah, I know. I was born in 91, but yeah, I mean, it does suck. This movie did, like Marco Polo said, it did get shut down because of the strike. But hey, there's a lot of stuff going on in Hollywood right now, so it's interesting time out there for sure. Anyway, guys, let us know in the comments below. People seem pretty jazzed about this Wolverine. We got a 75% yes rate right now. So yeah, let us know in the comments below whether you're picking up Yellow Wolvie and then possibly even Deadpool. I would like a Deadpool in my collection at some point, but man, space is tough right now. Space is tough. It is. But the Montagues are great still. Love them nonetheless. We did get a super chat. Let me take a look at that real quick. I don't want to miss out on that. I'm so sorry it took us this long. So MDL404, thank you so much, but that is a very generous super chat. Hey guys, I love the show and I love catching you all live. Keep up the great work. But Keco, I have to ask, why so serious on your last two videos?
So apparently they love sassy Keco. Well, I'm just trying to put different content out there and to get people to think. And it was just a delivery format, just trying different things to see how it is. And little clickbaity, sure, because there's nothing that gets clicks such as divorce from my collecting and things like that. So I wanted to create a tone at that. Is Sassy Keco still here? Hell yes, of course he is. So make sure to watch the next video coming out, which we'll talk about at the end of the show. That may tickle your fancy a little more than the other two.
Dude, you can't take the sassy out of Keco. It just doesn't work that way. It's an innate characteristic. It's just not possible. But thank you so much, MDL, bro. Appreciate that, man. Thank you so much for the generous super chat. And yeah, Keco will always bring the sass as always. So yeah, I want to ask the question, Keco. Dynamic posing, man. Dynamic posing. I got a very interesting comment on my collection tour, and one guy.
Is this the one you sent me?
Yeah, the one guy was like, he said, "Oh, well, you critique other people's collections, say they don't have dynamic posing, but then you don't have dynamic posing." I'm like, did I say that? Maybe I did, but I don't know. Because usually what I would say normally is, I'm not one to say, "Oh, you need more dynamic posing," because as you can tell, I don't really do that much dynamic posing. Some, if the character demands it, but short of that, I'm more of a museum character pose type guy. If I do see a pose that looks a little bit bland or unnatural, then I will say maybe we should try something a little bit different. But short of that, not really as much. So I found that it was kind of a funny comment. I thought it was interesting. But dynamic posing, Keco, I have to ask the question. And I want to bring up, honestly, probably the best guy who even does it, and that's Posing with Peter. Like Posing with Peter does amazing job with his dioramas and his dynamic posing. And I have to ask the question, I'll ask the chat as well. Dynamic posing, Keco, do we love it or do we hate it? I always get a little bit worried, bro, with any sort of figure like Spider-Man and stuff like that, with the material, the longevity of that, if you put them in dynamic poses. I don't know, man. I tend to be more of a character pose guy, but that's just me, man. What do you think? Do you love dynamic posing? What's your relationship with it?
It's really going to come down to what your display looks like. If you got the room, there's Drago.
Drago, what are we, 1 hour and 3 minutes in?
1 hour and 3 minutes officially. So he always throws my train of thought on. It comes down to your display on what it looks like. If you got the room to do it, then I think it could be cool. But for Will, you are limited in space. I'm limited in space. So being able to pull this pose off right here probably isn't going to happen. So a character pose is much more likely to give a little bit of life to a figure, but also still allow for the room. Now, I know some figures like Darth Maul, like Spider-Man, you know, they almost require you to have them doing something as opposed to just sitting there, if you want to call it that. Do I hate it? No. I mean, if you're good at it, go for it. I think the better question is, are you good at dynamic posing or not? That's the thing, because if you don't do it right, it could just look like they're floating and flying and look silly. So make sure that you find a still that you can try to duplicate it. But here's what I do hate, Will, if we want to get real problematic with things. Yeah. I hate the idea that you can't touch these figures or do anything with them because you're afraid they're going to turn to dust. That's my big thing, is that so many people get these figures and they are so terrified to do anything, to which I then say, maybe you do need to either go down a scale to something a little more posable, such as an action figure, Hasbro, whatever it may be, or get a statue if you still want the premium look or feel. I understand they are figures, they are articulated, you can pose them, but you do need to be careful, sure. But I think you need to have fun with it, man. You only live once. You can't just keep it locked in a cage forever. So pose that thing, have some fun, move the arm up a little bit, bend an elbow, but just be smart about it. At the end of the day, they're just things. Enjoy them the best you can, because I think a lot of people in this hobby get figures and then don't do anything with them because they're afraid of them. And I think they need to do away with that stigma. And if you are not comfortable with doing something with the figures, then maybe not get them in the first place, because they deserve to be posed to a degree. I mean, don't be reckless with them by any means, but enjoy them. Don't hate them because be like, oh my God, I dropped this thing and the wrist peg broke. I broke a wrist peg today and I couldn't be more excited, you know, just because I get to swap out the wrist peg. It's okay. It's okay.
As long as you have a replacement wrist peg.
Correct. If you have the replacement.
If you don't, yeah. Which I got to give a shout out to Kit from 16 Kit, because I broke my Sephiroth Game Toys wrist peg and it didn't come with replacements. And then I was like, Kit, what the fuck do I do, dude? And he got me some. So luckily, and he came through and he shipped me some. It was really, really nice of him to do. So really appreciate that. But yeah, man, I don't tend to be a dynamic poser. I don't want to say I hate dynamic posing, but I will say that overall, I like the look of a character pose a little bit better. Something simple, give them a little bit of dynamism to it, make them look natural. Like if you have them just standing like a T, like a character or museum pose, I don't love that because it doesn't look natural. And then the figure doesn't look lifelike, which takes away its greatest attribute. It's lifelike, realistic, screen-like accurate qualities, right? Which kind of defeats the purpose of even paying for a high-end collectible, I guess, like a hot toy, right? So I would say, yeah, you got to give some personality to it, so put some thought into the pose. But yeah, dynamic poses, they take up a lot of space generally. You know, if you have the figure with arms out everywhere and whatever, Keco, I'm a little bit different than you. If you have a seamless figure, I am pretty concerned about the longevity of that. Like that's something that I'm not going to keep the elbows bent long term, because you're just asking for a nightmare. You just are.
But you can get replacements though, most likely.
Sometimes. But like, for example, like if a Game Toys Cloud or something that's very rare and expensive, like I'm just not dealing with that.
Sure, there's exceptions to everything.
And also like Thanos, for example, like it's a little bit harder to, I mean, you could get him, he's cheap, but you'd have to probably just buy a new Thanos, right? Because, you know, his arm, he's purple. So it's not like you can just replace him. You'd have to get another Thanos arm, which could be possible. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's yeah. I tend to just like simple posing that gives a character a little bit of personality, gives them something simple, but nothing too crazy. This is actually really cool what Peter has done though with the wire and Mando flying like that. That's pretty cool. It's not something I would do because I'm not really, that's not my thing, but I do think it looks dope in the walking pose. Peter just has a way of making these figures look natural in their poses. So as does Terry from Sideshow, by the way. So he's really, really great at it too. Justin's actually really good at it too. If you saw his Moon Knight poses, they were really, really strong. So yeah, and there's a lot of good poses out there in this community. But to me, man, I tend to be a character pose guy. Keco, if you had to pick one though, you're probably a character pose guy, right?
What was the question?
Like character pose or dynamic pose, if you had to pick
character
one.
Pose for sure.
Yeah, right.
It's the subtle like head nod or the shoulder move. I saw someone put in the comment #bend an elbow. I like that.
Yeah, bend an elbow. Yeah, that's all you got to do, really. Give it a slight bend. And also, if you have like a skin tight suit like the Spider-Man, bend a little elbow. Just don't give it a full bend long term, but give it a slight bend. You're probably fine. You're probably all right. So, yeah, I think and Mark Attack, you are right about Nick's Collectibles. He does good with his posing too. So yeah, thank you so much, guys, for your thoughts on that one in the chat, and of course, Mr. Keco as well. So, Keco, like I mentioned, the news a little bit slower this week. So, what I want to do is kind of talk about some more big picture topics I think that are going to be a little bit more interesting long term. So, I want to ask the question, Keco. You and I are a little bit different in how we approach collecting, right? So, I want to ask the question. I want to ask the chat, weigh in on this one. Chat, let us know what your thoughts are. Does more figures equal a higher quality collection, or does it equal higher quality stress? Because, Keco, you have to think about it. You know this. You got boxes. You got storage space. You got display space. You got more displays because you have more figures. It does come with its own set of drawbacks, but it's also its own set of positives of great things because you have a really impressive dynamic display. We talked about diversity, right? You got more figures, you got more diversity because you have more things to show people. But you got more storage, you got more attic space. Sometimes you have to rent storage facilities. To me, that sounds stressful. That's why, to me, that's not how I collect. I set myself to a firm limit. I'm like, okay, this is about as much as I can handle. I don't want to go over that. Even if I had more space, I don't think I would do that. Probably what I would do maybe is get more art prints. I wouldn't probably buy more figures and have more boxes and things stacked up in my closet or in my attic or whatever. So, Keco, I have to ask the question. You have a lot more figures than me and you manage it very effectively. How do you do that? I mean, do you view it as a higher quality collection because of the more figures that you have?
I will never say my collection's better than somebody's or anything like that. I don't think anyone can say that their collection is better than anybody's. We are all in this together. Volume does not equal a better collection than somebody's. Posing, I think, is more important even than volume at the same point. If you do not care for your figures, I think that your collection looks worse than somebody that has 3 million figures on the wall and they're all just literally jammed into a shelf, not posed, and just sitting in there. And then you look at Peter's that is perfectly posed and beautiful and given the proper space, lighting, all that stuff. I think that's the difference is what it comes down to. But you definitely hit it on the head is that, yes, I'm proud of the volume and size of the collection that I have. I'm proud of it. I don't think it's better than anybody's, but I'm proud of what I have. But it does mean amplified stress for sure, because it's like we're going to use Drago as an example. The more dogs you have, the more things you have to feed, the more shit you have to pick up, the more irritable you have to worry about because there's more things you have to care for. The things that increase, the problems increase. It's exponentially. That's the way it works. And so with this is that I need to worry about cleaning. I need to worry about maintenance. I need to worry about accessories. I need to worry about boxes. And you said it. I have a storage unit that I have to put some of these boxes in because the Ecto 1 box is a refrigerator box. Where am I going to put that actually here in my home? How's it even going to fit into my little door back there? So yeah, there is definitely a stress that comes with it. But as I said, the quality of your collection should be based upon whether or not you care for the amount that you have. If you have too many and you can't care for it, you have a collection that I would say you need to scale back on because you can't give them the proper love and respect that they have. Accumulating things does not make a good collection. If you can properly manage it and you can properly clean it, maintain it, and still curate it the right way, that's what makes a good collection. So whether that's 400 figures or 40 or 4, it doesn't matter. As long as you give them the quality and attention they deserve, just like they're your children, as long as you give them the love and respect that they all deserve and that you don't have any favorites above all. So I have to lie, though. I do have some favorites. So maybe I'm breaking my own rule.
That blue Batman, dude.
You better believe. Well, I told you as soon as it gets here. As soon as it gets here.
Dude, as soon as you get there, I'm going to fly in just to see the Batman. I'm like, Keco, bro, I'm here, man, to see the Batman. That's
Come
all
in
I
and
want.
see the Batman. I'll take you to dinner, and then you can fly home.
Yeah, exactly. Then I'll fly right back home. Dude, you just got to drive me back to the airport, though. You got to drop
I'll
me
do
off
that
at the airport.
for
Yeah,
sure.
drop me off at the airport. Or have Amy do it or something. But yeah, dude. Yeah, it's interesting because look, I've seen some really, like Justin has a lot of figures, has a great collection. You have a lot of figures, a great collection. There are a lot of collectors out there who have accumulated a large amount of figures and displayed them very effectively. To me, look, I've mentioned this before. When you move, things are different.
It's
Dude,
bad, man.
when
For
you
sure.
move, look, most people look, if you're settled in your home, you're like, this is my home for the next lifetime, right? Then you're like, this is great. I don't have to move any of this stuff. But if you ever have to move, I can just tell you, moving collectibles is going to make you reevaluate your hobby because it's just not fun, bro. Statues too. You're worried about breaking something. You have to pack something back up. You have all these figures. Like honestly, with my figures, I just kind of laid them down and kept them safe and then put them in my car because boxing them all back up and then reposing them all, like just a pain in the ass. If I can maintain the pose to a degree, I'm going to try to do that. So yeah, I can just tell you, man, moving your collectibles or even moving them to a different room. When I had to move them all out of here to build these Module cases, I was like, what am I doing with my life, bro? I was like, what am I doing? There's like
I had to
collectibles
move
everywhere.
just empty boxes
Yeah,
out,
empty boxes.
and I wanted to like kill myself. I'm like, this is not fun. I was like, why am I doing this? Why?
Right. But then when you
quit.
get it in there, like you get the figures in the display and you get everything set up, you're like, this is why. It looks great. Looks amazing. And you feel proud. You know what I mean? But it's just the process along the way, storing boxes, moving figures, breaking down shipper boxes. Like it's just, yeah, man, it's something you got to factor into this collecting journey. And when you think about how big your collection is going to be, it's something to factor in, bro. There's absolutely drawbacks, Keco. Like the storage space, dude. Come on now.
I would say storage is probably honestly one of the most underutilized or appreciated parts of collecting because if you don't have the right way, and I'm not just talking about boxes. I mean, most likely you need to put those accessories somewhere. That's what they're known for, especially 6-scale figures, is how much stuff you get with them. Where are you putting those? I mean, you have to put them somewhere. You're not throwing them away. So what are you doing with them? Being able to manage that effectively is a huge part of the collecting business.
Yeah, I agree, bro. I agree. So, guys, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And yeah, we got a pretty strong 83% no saying more figures does not equal higher quality collection necessarily. So, interested to see some more thoughts on that, some comments along that. So, I think that'll be cool. So, guys, we've got time for a couple more topics right here. So, Keco, I don't know if I sent this one to you beforehand, but I wanted to kind of ask the question, or rather do a sort of show and tell like we normally do, right? Show us your favorite sold out figure in your collection, which honestly, really, this could be any figure that's more than a year old or less, right? Because it almost could be just show me your favorite figure in your collection because most things are probably going to be sold out at this point, right? But yeah, man, I want to kind of do a show and tell, and I can grab something too. I just got to take my Module case door off. But Keco, what's your favorite? You could tell us, and then you could go grab it. And I can go grab mine while people do that if they want. But while they watch us grab our figures out of our cases. But what's your favorite sold out figure, man?
Oh, that's very challenging. I might have to like walk around to like figure out what it would be. And you gave me the topics ahead of time, and I still didn't.
Well,
like,
if you don't have to show it to me, I'll just pull up the photos.
Can you pan through my collection here? So
yeah, I can do that. I could do that. Bro. Yeah.
My favorite.
Let's see. Hold on. Where's the wide shot? There's the wide shot.
Okay. Yeah. Just hit play real quick. From that wide shot. Okay. Let's see. It's probably going to be a Star Wars figure. Okay. I am honestly, I think, drum roll.
Is it Dark Side Anakin?
Well, I love Dark Side Anakin, but I feel like that's the basic answer. But I'm going to go two. I'm going to go Emperor Palpatine on the throne. Ooh. Or Jyn Erso Imperial Disguise.
Wow. Okay. So you like Imperial Disguise over regular Jyn?
Yeah. The black is sexy.
Oh, is that why it is?
Amongst other things.
Well, dude, here's the Papa Palps with the light up throne. I've seen him sell for reasonable prices lately. People have been moving on from him. So, Keco, why do you like Emperor Papa Palps with the throne?
I think if you have Emperor Palpatine, you have to have the throne. It just there's no option otherwise, for me at least. The display presence of if you can put matching with a guard, there's nothing that looks cooler, especially if you are good at trying to manipulate the posing, because mine's just kind of like leaning forward in the chair with the point. I love that. And I mean, he's the Emperor. He's the whole backbone villain of all 9 films, if you acknowledge the other 3 films. I mean, he is the main guy, and to not have that represented in your collection, I think, is a miss if you are a Star Wars fan. So I love Palpatine. I love that he comes with the chair. And I think I love the chair more than the actual figure because it's so good. And I understand it's not to scale completely. I think maybe even Jazz Inc. or somebody did a better version of the chair. But man, it looks good. It looks so good. And if you pair it with the guards or with Vader, because currently in my display, it's the Emperor in the chair with a guard next to it, with Luke with the windswept hair looking at his hand like he just fought his father. And so that's what I have in my display right there.
And with the Jyn Erso, dude, why? I mean, it is a unique figure. And supposedly, I didn't realize it was an exclusive technically. It's an exclusive. So that's at least how they describe it. Yeah.
But
that sculpt's great.
Yeah, it's got a little bit different head sculpt from the other one. I think the eyes are looking a little bit different, or the hair is just a hair bit different. But I love that the black is sleek. It's really cool. And that scene, in the tunnel is just so iconic. And for someone that loves the Rogue One film, that moment was really cool. What I do wish, they give you the helmet that you can put on, but I wish you could see the eyes as opposed to just wearing the helmet. I think that would have been cool. Almost like a Fennec Shand version, that's what it is. Her eyes are off kilter a little bit. They're looking to the side a little bit more. But I think she's awesome. And just being able to see her in that black, this is what I had before I had the Death Star gunner. And it's very reminiscent of kind of like the Death Star gunner Imperial. The black Imperial with the cog on the shoulder is really cool.
Yeah, I think this is really cool, man. And Keco, I'm going to sound like a broken record here, bro, but I got to keep sharing this one with people because this is the grail.
Yeah.
This is the grail, bro. Like, this is the grail to rule all grails. And I'm telling you guys, the game Toys Sephiroth, although my wing doesn't quite work like this anymore because mine is eventually the metal wire will sort of give under the weight over time. So it's a little bit of a pain in the ass. But I will say, as far as this figure in general, bro, it's just incredible, man. It's incredible. So for the Final Fantasy VII fans out there, I highly recommend you pick this one up. This is just an incredible sold out figure. Maybe they'll make another one for the Final Fantasy Rebirth game that's coming out soon. But this figure just has a ton of presence. A die-cast Masamune sword, a wing, really long hair, a tall figure. It's just an amazing, amazing piece. So guys, yeah, that would be my choice. There's so many others. I mean, I said Darth Maul is probably the best Star Wars hot toy. I think Darth Maul is incredible. I just really love that Phantom Menace Darth Maul. It's amazing. And Carnage, he's not sold out, but he's great. Who has been sold out? Dude, I actually really like the Empire Vader. Empire Vader I really like a lot. But I only have room for one Vader, so I'm probably going to have to move on from that one, unfortunately.
And I will say, to address one person, Uncarded Review said the tunnel scene wasn't even in the actual movie. I know, but it was part of the trailer when she turns around and says, "Look what will you become?" That is the iconic moment. And then, so
yeah,
good call on the tunnel scene, but still, that moment is pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, guys, let us know in the comments below what your favorite sold out figure is from Hot Toys or otherwise. We can choose whatever you want. Guys, we have one more topic to hit this fine evening. If you have any more questions for us, try to let us know, and we'll try to touch on what we can. But I want to ask the question, Keco, and try not to make it bleak on the show. We try to make it positive, upbeat, happy, whatever. But
yeah, they want sassy Keco, so here we go.
Yeah, they do want sassy Keco. So, and we have to have sassy topics to bring out sassy Keco. It's just how it works. The formula has to be right to bring out the Hawk, right? So it's just, it's gotta be how it goes. But collecting is not healthy right now, and I think everyone knows. I think everyone is aware of that in terms of I know it's sort of a taboo word, but the market, right? What we're looking at with the market and just the value of these figures and the oversaturation and just the amount that people are leaving collecting. I mean, that's just, people are selling their figures for cheap and leaving collecting. That's definitely happening. And, I think right now, a lot of people are sitting on dead stock in terms of the retailers. Is the future bleak, Keco? Because, I mean, it's great we're getting discounts, but at some point, I mean, we have to look at the health of the industry and say, are all these discounts on Hot Toys or otherwise a good thing or health? Does that showcase a health for the industry or the opposite? I would probably argue it's the opposite. But Keco, is the future bleak? Is collecting going to rebound? Is it going to be stronger than ever? Because during COVID, it was doing pretty well apparently, but now the industry is a little bit of a rough state. I mean, what do you project the future to be?
I project the future to be as it's been for all of human history. Things ebb and things flow. That's just the way it is. Yes, because of a generational type of issue with the COVID times, people were sitting at home, nothing to do, on the heels of the biggest Marvel movie of all time, as well as the government giving them free money. People bought stuff and they're like, I have nothing to do. I want toys. I want to feel good. I will do this. Fast forward to 3 years from that time, people are saying, wow, I'm still waiting on some figures that I pre-ordered 2 years ago. Where the hell are they? I don't know what's happening. I don't got any money. I lost my job. What am I going to do? Sure, you probably need to refocus. But here's the thing. People have been collecting for all of time. People have collected food, collected things, hunter-gatherers, ever since the very beginning of existence. People have collected things. Going all the way back to pop culture, people have collected things, whether it's stamps, whether it's pennies, whether it was the original 1977 Star Wars figures, G.I. Joe's, Transformers. There's always going to be something to collect. Now, is the future bleak? Depends on what you consider it to be bleak, meaning that there will be less offerings, meaning that things will be too expensive to buy. I don't know. That's going to be up to you. What it is going to allow us to do is have an opportunity to really find and focus and really dive deep into what makes you happy. So for me, the reason I collect, and this is a little bit of subtopic for this, the reason I collect is because I want to feel moments and reminisce about feelings that I have experienced on the screen or growing up. So that's why certain characters mean more to me, because when I see said figure, collectible, statue, whatever it may be, I feel something. That's the reason I searched high and low for years and spent way too much money on the damn Ecto 1 back there, because when I see the Ecto 1, it means something to me. It probably means more to me than almost any other piece that I have in my collection, because the Ghostbusters was, I think I've told this on the story before, my first childhood memory. When I woke up on my third birthday, I think was my first actual memory I remember. My third birthday, I woke up, my dad handed me a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man doll, and that was my first childhood memory I ever had. And the Ghostbusters have been there for a while, so obviously the Ecto means something to me. All that to say, the future is only going to be as bleak as you let it be. Don't let it consume you by trying to impress people, anything like that. Collect for you. Collect what you want. And if you don't need collectibles like this, then move on to it and find something that makes you happy. But if you want to collect something that gives a emotion, yields an emotion from you, then for sure, refine the way that you purchase, budget, figure out what's going to make you happy, and go for it. If you can get deals, then cool. If you need to chase things later on because you weren't able to get them at some point, that's fun. The chase is fun. And as I've said before, I don't mind paying more for something that I have to chase at some point, because there's thrill in that. And then once you get it, you can say, wow, I accomplished something, because it's exclusive. It's hard to find.
Yep.
I feel good because I got that. So I think it's going to be better, because there's going to be more things for you to do instead of just sitting at home waiting for pre-orders to come in. So let's have some fun, man.
Yeah, I think so too, bro. And I think, look, like I said, it's only as bleak as you make it out to be. But I think the collecting industry and all these businesses in terms of luxury goods, they will adapt to what people are doing, and they will change things to survive. And I think all these companies are going to be doing that. I still think you might be seeing less supporting characters, and I think you might see, or at very minimum, less quality in terms, less volume rather in supporting characters. You're going to see more volume in terms of the main characters, more things that they know are going to sell, instead of other things that are a little bit more risky. I think it's not the time for it. Even this Iron Studio statue, the Scarlet Witch, right? By all means, it's a good statue, right? It's 30% off already. Like yeah, I don't know. But I think the future is going to be, you're going to see lower edition sizes for these bigger, more expensive pieces, and hopefully higher quality. And you're probably going to see more main characters and less supporting characters. Scarlet Witch being a main character, because she's pretty much become that.
Absolutely, she is.
Yeah, she had her own show, and she's become a leading character. So, but yeah, man, it's true. Like CT Jesse said, no more Death Watch Mando type figures. Maybe not. Maybe
no
maybe make less of them.
No mustard troopers.
Well, I don't know. Maybe those are so cheap to make that they're just like, we're just going to keep making them. Like they're just, people buy them and they're cheap. So yeah, I don't know. But with those, I think the future is still going to be bright. We just got to see some change. We got to see some things on the horizon, but we're moving into a new time. Hot Toys making those Spider-Man exclusive tells you something. That's something they're testing out and they're trying things out. They realize they need to change something, and Sideshow definitely needs to change something, which I'm sure they've told Hot Toys. So yeah, I guess we're going to see. But guys, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think the future is bleak for collecting? Do you think it's bright? Overall, we try to be optimists here, so we think it's bright. We think things are going to get better. They're going to improve. The market's going to rebound. Collectors are going to be happy. There's more options than ever, which is a good thing. But it also means more temptation than ever, and also more money spent if you have that more temptation. So I guess we're going to see how it shakes out. But let us know in the thoughts, your thoughts in the comments below. Guys, thank you so much. That is pretty much all of our topics for the evening. So we are going to get out of here and let you guys enjoy your fine Friday. And of course, leading to the weekend. Mr. Keco, thank you so much, as always, bro, for being my amazing co-host and offering your spicy takes as always, man. So what's coming up on the channel? I know you got some exciting things you talked about.
Yeah, sassy video coming very, very soon, because we're addressing this lovely topic. Do you need a regular or a deluxe when it comes to the figures? Because Will, you and I were talking about this a little bit earlier about, do you need the special edition? Do you need the deluxe? Do you need the regular? What's the pros and cons of all of it? So that is the next video coming to the channel. Putting more stuff out recently, obviously. Make sure to check out the Honeymoon is Over video on the YouTube. Make sure to check out Do You Need Vehicles on the old YouTube. Make sure to check me out on Threads if you want that. Part of Instagram, I suppose. And with Instagram going, we dropped stuff of Crosshair, we dropped stuff of Finnick, and tomorrow we're dropping stuff of Cad Bane. So make sure to check that out if you're a Cad Bane fan. So, Will, I'm going to be looking for you to hit me with those likes. So,
dude, I'm going to hit you with those likes.
Yeah, and then obviously coming up tonight, we have some rolls and honey butter. So I'm really excited about that.
That sounds great. Not to be confused with reels. Those are different. Reels and rolls are two different things. But yeah, bro, I'm happy for you to be getting some Texas Roadhouse. We have a place here. What's it called? It's very similar to Texas Roadhouse, but it's like sort
McDonald's.
of a local. We do have that. But it's like a very local establishment. It's sort of like a steakhouse type deal, but I forget what it's called at the moment. But it's very similar. But it's good. People go crazy for it here. It's like packed all the time. So anyway, guys, check out Keco Collects, Instagram, Threads, YouTube, everything in between. But yeah, guys, check out some stuff I have on my channel. Of course, we have the collection tour that I just did. That is up, where I showcase the new Module cases and everything in between. I did a Module case video that I filmed in higher quality, which I should have filmed my collection tour that way, but the next one I will. I'll probably do another collection tour in a couple months or something. We'll see. But check that out on my channel. A bunch of other content. The clips will be up soon. There'll be other stuff, guys, for you to watch. But yeah, lots of great stuff coming on this channel. There's some shorts, actually. I've been doing some shorts, which are, Keco said it's been an experience. So people have been
wondering, you riding that damn eagle again or something like that.
Dude, that was pretty legit. I got some ones in the pipeline, so it's gonna be pretty
exciting. In the hopper, hey?
Yeah, I do, bro. So it's gonna be pretty exciting. People check out my Instagram, Will.Foxification. Lots of funny reels and stuff on there. And yeah, thank you guys so much for joining. And of course, we'll be back next Friday, as always. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Catch you in the next one. Peace out. Bye. Bye.